Bradford City continue their 2025-26 League One campaign with a home clash against Gary Caldwell's Exeter City, and in today's video you're going to find out how both teams have got on so far this season, what my starting 11 would be for this game if I was Graham Alexander. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, then make sure to like, comment and subscribe. But my team Bradford City, we currently sit third in the League One table. After 16 matches, we've got 7 wins, 7 draws and 2 defeats, scoring 24 goals and also conceding 18, which leaves us on a positive 6 goal difference and 28 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a draw, a loss, a draw and a draw, still without a win in the league since September. Hopefully that can change this Saturday, but recently we had a 0-0 draw away at Bolton Wanderers. If our results recently hadn't been so underwhelming, this would have certainly been seen as a much better point than what it was. Now, having had a decent amount of time to reflect on it, that is a very good point for Bradford City, keeping a clean sheet away at Bolton Wanderers. Yes, with there being over 26,000 fans there, with there being 5,000 Bradford fans, you'd have liked to see an entertaining 5-4 win for Bradford City, but it's still a very solid point on the board for us. Before that one, we had a disappointing 3-1 defeat away at Doncaster Rovers. We were great in the first half, should have been 2 or 3 goals up, but in the second half they brought on 4 or 5 first team players, especially at half time as well, and we just completely capitulated in that second half, stopped really competing in our duels, and it was a very underwhelming second half. In terms of the game before that then, we had a 2-1 defeat at home to Burton Albion, just our 3rd home league defeat since the beginning of last season. But again, another game which we were really poor in the first half, certainly up the ante in the second half, but the damage was done in the first 45. Such sloppy defending for those goals, and again we had a number of players out injured for that one. We also had a 1-0 defeat away at Cheltenham Town. Even now, nearly a month on from this result, I still can't get my head around how that goal has stood. They've taken the free kick before the referee's blown his whistle. Everyone's then stopped practically, apart from Isaac Hutchinson, who heads it home into the back of the net, and I still don't really understand how that goal is allowed to stand. But again, I think we had something close to like 30 shots in this game and just could not convert. Our finishing recently has not been particularly great. I mean, you look at none against Bolton, 1 against Doncaster, 1 against Burton, none against Cheltenham, none against Lincoln City as well, which was the game before that. We've really struggled for goals over the last couple of matches. This was a game where Lincoln were probably the better side in the first half. We were probably the better side in the second half. It's positive that we started keeping more clean sheets recently. We're not conceding as many goals, but we're not scoring anywhere near enough. It's all well and good winning 2-1 and 3-1, but then when it starts to go 0-0 and 1-0 loss, it's where I'd much rather see us have a couple of goals conceded if we're scoring more, which we've not really been doing that much recently. Compared though to Exeter City, they currently sit 20th in the League One table, just outside of the relegation zone by a single place. After 16 matches, they've got 5 wins, 2 draws and 9 defeats, scoring 16 goals and also conceding at 17, which leaves them on a -1 goal difference and at 17 points. Their last couple of matches then have been a loss, a draw, a win, a loss and a draw, so very inconsistent for them over the last couple of games. Obviously just outside the relegation zone by a single point, and there's not loads of goals in their games. Recently they had a 2-1 defeat away at Leyton Orient, 2 very well taken goals, to be fair. Obviously by the time this game comes around they won't have actually played a football match for 2 weeks, so hopefully we can catch them a little bit cold in this one, but I feel like Leyton Orient probably did deserve the win. They also had a 1-0 win away at Newport County in the Football League Trophy. Again, this is a competition that not many teams really do take that seriously, so when you do win, I guess it is always a bonus. They also had a 1-1 draw at home to Wigan Athletic. It wasn't the most entertaining of games, if I do remember correctly. Jaden Wareham seems to have scored a fair few goals following his move from Reading in the summer, but anytime that Exeter are picking up points, I do think it is positive, because I do think they've got one of the weaker squads in this division, given that I'm pretty sure they're a fan-owned club and obviously they don't have a particularly big budget. They also had a 2-0 win away at Halifax Town. This could have been a bit of a banana skin playing against a non-league side, but they scored inside the first 120 seconds. Jaden Wareham again on the score sheet just before half-time got the job done for the Grecians, and they also had a 4-3 win at home to Arsenal's under-21s, but again it's in that competition. You'd much rather I speak about Exeter's 2-0 win at home to Plymouth Argyle. I watched the majority of this game, 2 very well taken goals from Exeter, and they showed in this game that defensively they can be solid. They can also score goals going forward, but I think on the road so far this campaign they've not picked up many wins wins. They've had a couple of lucky 1-0s. I remember the 1-0 win away at Lincoln where Kevin McDonald, former Bradford City manager, scored in the last minute. I think they got a 1-0 win as well away at Wickham. That went down as an own goal in the end. So Exeter away from home certainly do struggle. They like to play a low block, sit and defend and try and play for a 0-0, so we're going to have to try and break that down. Before we do go any further though with today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 150 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below your starting 11 for this match, and also let me know down below your score prediction as well. In terms of my team then for this game at home to Exeter City, recently we've started to get more of our important first team players back available from injury. Unfortunately, it was confirmed during the week that Matt Pennington has torn his hamstring and he's going to be out until the middle to end of January, which is a massive blow for Bradford City. Anytime it seems that we just get enough first team players back to really go on and start competing again, we then lose a key asset in somebody like Matt Pennington, who's already missed a decent amount of football so far this campaign. But personally, I would stick with the 3-4-2-1 formation. I feel like at home it is what we know, it's our go-to, and I would like to see us stick with it in this one. In goal, I would go with Sam Walker. Again, great to see him keep another clean sheet on Saturday. First half was quite busy, had a couple of decent saves to make, nothing that you wouldn't expect him to make. I think if a lot of those chances go in, you would be asking questions, but he's still got to be there and he's still got to produce the stops. In the second half, didn't really have that much to do, in all honesty, but again, going away to Bolton and keeping a clean sheet, I don't think many goalkeepers will do that this season. In terms of my back three then, at right centre-back, I would go with Aidan Baldwin. Obviously, it was great to see him get his first minutes since Cardiff away, which was around the middle of September on Saturday, following his calf tear, I think, that he suffered, which was obviously a big blow for us. But with Pennington picking up that injury, it is very important that Aidan Baldwin can come back in, because Neil Byrne, for me, is not good enough to be playing regularly as that right centre-back. In the middle of my back three, I would go with Joe Wright. I thought that was one of his best games post-concussion sort of injury for Bradford City. I thought he was really good on Saturday. Dealt with the threat of Mason Burstone. I think they brought Marcus Force on as well in the second half. I thought Joe Wright had a really, really solid game. I'm pretty sure he got the social media man of the match as well. So for me personally, he definitely keeps his place in this side. And as my left centre-back, I would go with Ibu Toure. I thought he, for me personally, was man of the match on Saturday. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. To say he got such an early booking for something that wasn't really his fault, with Tyreek Wright giving the ball away quite cheaply, and obviously him getting booked inside the first 10-15 minutes, I thought he dealt with the threat of Kazia Dubry very, very well. I was really impressed with Ibu Toure. He used his experience, used his know-how, and he kept one of the best players, if not the best player in the division, completely silent for the majority of the game. So he definitely keeps his place in this side for me. In terms of my midfield four then, at right wing back, I would go with Josh Nerthville. Again, we know the threat that Nerthville can provide, and on his day, he's a very good player for this level. But again, against Bolton, I don't think we really saw it often enough. I don't really think we had much of a threat down our right hand side. I mean, especially in that first half. Second half, he certainly did improve and was getting out his mind, getting balls into the box. But unfortunately, I just don't quite think we've seen enough consistency from Josh Nerthville, and that's because of the standards he set, because we know how good that he can be on his day. We just need to see it a little bit more consistently, in my opinion. In terms of my two central midfielders, firstly, I would go with the captain, Max Power. I actually thought against Bolton on Saturday he had one of his poorer games for Bradford City. I don't think he was particularly great, but he's the captain, he's got experience, and I do think in these type of games where Exeter are going to try and frustrate us, try and run the clock down, that is perfect for somebody where you do need your captain. But again, I think I mentioned it in the vlog on Saturday, he seems to take all the long throws, all the free kicks, some corners as well, and we just never really score from set pieces. So maybe we need to change things up. I'm not 100% sure. Let me know your thoughts on that down below. I remember that free kick we had in the second half against Bolton, and it was absolutely nowhere near the target in the end. And partnering him, I would go with Alex Patterson. I thought he was solid enough against Bolton. You know, it's not easy going up against some of technically the best midfielders in the division. I do think at times he kind of overpressed and got caught out, but that's just the way that he plays. He plays on the edge, and Alex Patterson, for me, we know that he's got a goal in him. If Exeter are going to play the low block, someone who's able to shoot from distance. I know they've got a very good goalkeeper in Joe Whitworth, but Patterson for me I think would be ideal for this type of game. And as my left wing back, I would go with Lewis Richards. Again, I don't think Tyreek Wright was great against Bolton. I actually thought he had a pretty poor game, in all honesty. I saw a lot of praise for him on social media. I personally didn't see it that way, and Lewis Richards, for me, deserves an opportunity. I think when he's played in the AFL Trophy, he's looked good. Hasn't played at all, I don't think, in the league so far this season for Bradford City, but I do think he provides a real threat down that left-hand side. We saw the partnership that he built with Poynton down there last campaign, so I would like to see him get another opportunity, or get a opportunity in this type of game. And you've also got to factor in, if Exeter are going to sit in and defend deep, there's not really going to be space in behind for somebody like a Tyreek Wright to use their pace for, but you might need some one-touch, intricate passing and use your physicality of somebody like a Lewis Richards. In terms of my front three then, firstly, as my right attacking midfielder, I would go with Anthony Sarcevic. Obviously came on at half-time and got 45 minutes under his belt. I know his minutes that he's had recently have been very inconsistent given the odd injury that he's picked up here or there, but Sars, to me, the proof is in the pudding. When he plays, we are a better side, we get better results, and he is a very important player for Bradford City. As my left attacking midfielder, I would go with Bobby Poynton. I don't think it was his best game of the season away at Bolton, in all honesty, but I also don't think it was his worst whatsoever. He just kind of, at times, went through the motions a little bit, was trying to create things, and it wasn't really coming off for him, but again, there's a reason why he's playing in League One and not the Premier League, because he is going to have these type of games where he's not a 10 out of 10 every week. We know Poynton plays much better at home, at Valley Parade, and hopefully he can find himself on the score sheet once again. And finally then, as my striker, I would go with Andy Cook. I think we've seen a lot of inconsistencies now recently from the likes of Will Swan, who I don't think has performed for quite a while. You all know how big of a fan I am of Will Swan, but again subbed off at half-time on Saturday, didn't really offer anything in that first half. Stephen Humphreys came on at the break, and I do think had a better impact in that second half. I do think he played better than Will Swan, but I still think his best moments in a Bradford City shirt have come from him being out wide and playing as a winger. Callum Kavanagh, I don't think he's up to League One standard. In all honesty, I would like to see him go out on loan in January. And Andy Cook, for me, he's the perfect man when we're playing against the low block. We've seen it for a number of weeks, the last couple against Burton and Lincoln. When Andy Cook plays in these type of games, Bradford City's performance levels improve, and Cook is the perfect man. He should have come on Saturday. We were putting crosses into the box, and no one on the pitch on Saturday really wanted to attack it. Andy Cook is perfect for these type of games, and I'd love to see him get his first league start since returning from injury, but Alexander just doesn't really seem to fancy him at the moment. On the bench then for me, that would leave Joe Hilton, Brad Halliday, Tom McIntyre, Jensen Metcalf, Tyreek Wright, George Lapsley and Stephen Humphreys. The players currently unavailable are Matt Pennington, who's going to be out, as I said, for around 6 to 8 weeks, Curtis Tilt, who should be back in the next couple of weeks, Tommy Lee missed Saturday with an injury picked up on in training, and we've not really heard much of an update since then, so I'm not 100% sure on Tommy Lee's situation, but whether he's available or not, wouldn't have him in my matchday squad. And also Nick Powell, who's probably got another 6 to 8 weeks left as well. So the players to miss out then through selection would be Neil Byrne, Kieran Kelly, Callum Kavanagh and Will Swan. Again, it's painful to say Will Swan shouldn't be in the squad, but I like to do things based on performance and not just my favourite players. Swan hasn't performed for a while, shouldn't be in the squad for me. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 150 likes, as I said at the start of today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below on today's game. Let me know down below, do you agree or disagree with my starting 11, and what is your score prediction as well? I'm back in the Bantams for a 2-0 home win. If you want to see all of my League One score predictions, head over to More SHD and go check that out now.